What's up, my friends in the film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Uh, and boy, now I have audio coming through from my other YouTube feed. Let's get rid of that so I don't get confused here in my own sexy voice. We are here with my two amazing co-hosts to talk about another fantastic movie, one that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm kind of glad that I stumbled across the movie again because it reminded me how much I like this film. Here to talk about with me, of course, is my two amazing co-hosts, starting with my hero life mate Jeremy. What's up, brother?
I'm assuming you didn't get my message, but this will be real awkward here in about like 5 minutes.
I did not.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that.
Well, we'll just get awkward here in about 5 minutes then. Why not? We're all going to be surprised. We're all going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be great. And then, of course, the chef of the Lone Star State, the king of the steak knives. If you watched Alex the Garbage Man last night, you're going to understand why he has a new nickname. It is my man from Lone Star State. My man Tex. What's up, brother?
You know, some people spend cryptocurrency, some have gold, silver, even shekels. Not me, man. I've got that harsh truth, buddy. I am rolling in it.
Oh, that was the other thing we need to talk about.
Yeah,
there was like 8 or 10 things that were going on in Alex the Garbage Man last night. I was like, I really should be taking notes because there's a whole lot of shit.
I got so much harsh truth money, I'm running out of wallets to keep it in, pal. The stores they don't even know what to do with it. It's got Frank's face on it, like a thumbs up, and like can't really spend it anywhere, but I've got a lot of it. But, we'll figure it out. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, but we are here, of course, to talk about the movie Identity, the 2003 James Mangold film. But before we get to that, there is a small piece of unfortunate news that we want to talk about, and that is the death of the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. This from our friends over at Deadline. Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary Black Sabbath frontman and solo star who helped pioneer the follow-around reality TV genre with his MTV series The Osbournes, passed away Tuesday at the age of 76. His family confirmed the news in a statement, but did not provide the cause of death. Osbourne reunited with his band Black Sabbath for a live stream final concert just a couple of weeks ago on July 5th that also featured a who's who of hard rock and heavy metal bands. In a quote from the family that reads, quote, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love. We ask everyone to respect our family privacy at this time." Born John Michael Osbourne, December 3rd of 1948 in England, he co-founded the ever-influential and quite controversial band Black Sabbath in 1968 with guitarist Tony Iommi, bassist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward. Draped in demonic lyrical themes and often foreboding music, the British quartet was a near instant success and helped give birth and define the heavy metal genre that continues today. We're losing a whole generation of just people who are beyond entertainers. They have embodied what culture has been for the last 4 or 5 decades. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. Give me some of your quick thoughts on the passing of Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, I've always said it. Like, I know, no one lives forever, but I know he wasn't too long for this world, at least up till recently. And I'm always like, man, I'm gonna be really sad when that dude goes. And I thought it was really cool that he did just a few weeks ago get back together with Black Sabbath and have one big final, one last hurrah, one goodbye, just to kind of end it all. And someone at least brought up the good point. Someone on the internet said, like, you know what? Having a farewell concert and then dying a few weeks later is a pretty fucking metal move. So, you know what? That's one hell of a way to go out. I know all of you, Frank's seen me in real life, but, head to toe, you would never guess I was, a fan of Ozzy, dressing in all black fucking constantly. So, he's somebody who was a pretty big staple in my music taste and what I listened to, and all puns intended, pretty instrumental again, and like the kind of things I listen to, like my little happy places in like the 70s, 80s ish, with some of that rock and especially the metal, the thrash metal, hair metal, all that jazz. This one hurt. It really sucks because it's like, you never want to see people go, but I guess the crazy train made its last stop, so to speak.
Yeah, I know. Tex, you said that while you were not a big fan of Ozzy, you have to at least like some of his songs and just the impact that he's made on culture, even outside of the music industry. What are some of your thoughts on his passing?
Yeah, I've never been a big Ozzy guy. I'm a metalhead, of course, but Ozzy was never my thing. That you know, I won't go to the Alamo thing, whatever. But that preceding it, Ozzy was never my style. But you can't argue the cultural significance. That I mean, all you had to say was Ozzy, and everybody knew exactly what you were talking about. You know, from obviously music. Hell, he's probably the best scene in that entire little Nicky film is Ozzy coming out of the little orb thingy or whatever. You know, he did the reality shows. He's touched so many generations. You know, while not my style or speed of metal, everybody in metal would go back to him as one of the godfathers of the genre. So obviously thoughts for his family and the many loved ones and fans that he did have. Whether you liked him or not, you can't argue the significance of what the man did. And like Jeremy just said, what cooler way to go out than having one last rock fest with the best of the best. So, that is probably the best way for somebody like that to go down. So, rest in peace, Prince of Darkness, I guess.
Yeah, it's like I myself have never been a huge fan of heavy metal of the genre. There's been some bands that I've liked. There's been some individual songs that I've liked, but Ozzy, he was one of those few artists that kind of transcended all that. I wouldn't call him a crossover artist because he was big not just on the metal charts but on the rock charts. But I mean, one of the things that always kind of dazzled me about him was his range. He could do like Crazy Train or one of those songs, but then give us an amazing song like Close My Eyes Forever, that duet he did with Lita Ford, which is one of the top ballads ever made. I mean, that song comes on the radio and I will just turn it up and I'll just get lost in it. It's amazing. And then another album of absolute bangers that just shred. And then he'll come out with Mama, I'm Coming Home, another fantastic ballad that is beautifully written and performed. I couldn't understand how he did what he did for so long, because as he started to get older, obviously it was very visible when he was doing the reality show, The Osbournes, that his health was not what it once was in his younger day, for whatever reasons. I mean, part of it was he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's about 5 years ago or so. At least that's when he became public with it. Obviously his drug and alcohol use in his younger days had taken its toll, but even as he started to look more and more frail and was walking around his house filming the Osbournes like Joe Biden walking around the White House for the last couple of years, he could still pick up a microphone and the voice was still so raw and powerful. And I was like, how is all of you so broken, but you can fill your lungs with air and just belt out this mad shit that is as good now and as great to hear now as it was 30 years ago. I mean, his voice never slipped. And I didn't get a chance to watch the farewell concert a couple of weeks ago. I've seen clips of it. I know they're going to be releasing it on streaming services and stuff next year. Yeah. I think next year they said they were going to release it, sometime after the first of the year. But it's like I was listening to some of the clips of the songs, and I was like, and his voice was starting to show a little bit of wear. I could kind of hear it, but it still was so powerful. I mean, his vocal control was still so good. And when he really went after those notes, he was hitting them. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's 112 years old. He was 76, 112 years old, and he's still out singing so many people out there today in all their auto-tuned, 3-chord progressive bullshit. It's just like, how do you do that? How does it happen? I can't understand how this guy managed to stay so relevant to so many generations for so long. It's mind-boggling, and part of it was because he got in on the upswing of the reality TV boom. He's kind of an interesting character to watch anyway. I mean,
somebody's been in my room and taking all my beers.
I mean, look, I was doing a little bit of reading before we went live, and I was like, I should look up just a little bit of background information about the stuff. And then, of course, I remembered the whole biting the head off the bat thing. And I know that didn't quite go that way, but there's like a whole story behind this thing. And many of you may or may not have heard this. I'll go through it real quick. In 1981, after signing his first solo record deal, Osbourne bit the head off of a dove during a meeting with CBS record executives in LA. Apparently, he had planned to release the doves into the air as a sign of peace, but because he was drunk as hell, he instead grabbed the dove and bit its head off, then spat the head out, and with blood still dripping from his lips. As security was escorting Osbourne out of the building, he grabbed another dove and bit its head off. So it's like,
if you did one, you might as well do two, right?
And then, of course, the infamous biting the head off of the bat thing happened a year later, in January 20th, 1982. He bit the head off a live bat that he thought was rubber. This is a story that's typed in right here. While performing at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium in Des Moines, Iowa, one of the things that Des Moines, Iowa is most famous for is this incident. And according to a Rolling Stone article, the bat was alive at the time. However, 17-year-old Mark Neal, who threw it on stage, said that he brought it to the show dead. According to Osborne, in his book in 2002, Diary of a Madman, the bat was not only alive, but managed to bite him, resulting in Osborne being treated for rabies. In 2019, on the anniversary of this event, the bat offer, Ozzy's website offered a bat plush toy with a detachable head for sale on his personal website. The site claimed the first batch of toys sold out within hours. If I can find one of these bats, I'm buying it. I'm all over it. But we're losing. I was saying it over COVID. I was like, take this opportunity while there's no new stuff coming out to go backwards and look at some of this great stuff that you're probably missing. It's just not being pushed enough. Go back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, watch some of these great old films that didn't have the special effects to rely on. They had to have good dialogue and great acting. Look at those great performances and see how good they were. And it's the same thing with Ozzy. As this generation of performers is starting to die off. I mean, Jesus Christ, everybody loves the Rolling Stones. They're all 872 years old. They look like they're immortal and they're going to outlive the cockroaches and they're the only thing that's going to survive a nuclear blast. But I mean, the reality is nobody lives forever. So take an opportunity to go back and listen to this great music of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. I mean, because like I said, he had the metal track, sure, and they're good if you like metal, but he's got other songs that are just different. I mean, they don't fit in a genre. There's something that are something else. And every once in a while, an artist will come out with a song that kind of just does something insane that nobody understands. And Ozzy seemed to do it once an album. It's like he'd come out with some kind of a song that just blew everybody away and made him tremendously popular outside of the niche of hard rock or metal. But yeah, it's a really, really sad day. I mean, by far one of the most amazing characters that has ever walked the face of the earth. I mean, go look at his story a little bit. I mean, his beginnings. The bat stuff is really just the tip of the iceberg with Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, go look at his life a little bit. It's really crazy. Love and respect to his family, Sharon, his kids. Obviously we know about Jack and what's her name? Why am I forgetting his daughter's name? Kelly. He's also got another daughter that was not part of the show. I don't think she really wanted to be involved in all the reality TV nonsense. And I think at times they've been a little estranged, but he does have another daughter as well. Love and respect to all of them in this time. Ozzy, a great performer, a great entertainer, just an all around wild person to try to wrap your head around, and definitely go enjoy the music. Like I said, that duet he did with Lita Ford is one of the best ballads ever made, in my opinion. Close Your Eyes Forever is a fantastic song, and you really do get his range as an actual singer when he does that. And Mom, I'm Coming Home. It's easy just to like grab a microphone and scream while the guy's shredding with his guitar behind you. But it's like when you really get down to actually having to be a singer, those songs are amazing. Just fantastic. So go pay some respect to Ozzy Osbourne. Go hit Spotify. Let's see if we can get him to chart one more time, because his music really will live forever. I mean, he's one of those guys that that inspired 40 or 50 acts that are always chasing what he was. They're trying to chase the heights that he got to. It's a sad day. It's a sad day. And like I said, this is for me, who was never a big metal fan. I mean, he was something else, man. Definitely something else. But go down in the comments below. Let us know what you guys think about the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. Definitely a sad day in music. And we were talking earlier before we went live. Tex was saying this is the second or third death. This is like the fourth. We have Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away too. I mean, I think it would be remiss to not at least mention it. He died in an unfortunate drowning accident. I guess he was vacationing in Puerto Rico or Dominican.
He was like 54, man. He wasn't that old.
Yeah, he wasn't old at all. Just a tragic, kind of like Naya Rivera, the girl from Glee, kind of the same thing. She was out swimming with her kid and weird undertow, and you get sucked under the water, and that's it. Yeah, it's really a sad thing. And then of course we had Connie Francis, who my mother was named after because that was one of my grandmother's favorite singers. She just passed away, and there was another actor who was in He was in Star Trek. He was also in a soap opera and some other stuff. Character actor, passed away a couple days. Yeah, they don't die in threes anymore. Me and Tex were talking about this. Famous people die all the time, It's just that not all of them get press. It's like some of them have been out of entertainment for a while, so it's kind of mentioned in passing. It never really makes the news. I brought up the example of him, Farrah Fawcett, very famous in her day, had fought an illness the last several years of her life. She passed away the same day that Michael Jackson suddenly died. Michael Jackson, all the press, all over the news, and then like there's a little blurb that floats across the bottom of the screen. Farrah Fawcett died today. And that's the press that she got because she wasn't that big. All the attention was going in other directions. So yeah, pay attention to the to your obituaries. You're gonna be reminded of some people who did some really cool things that you should check out everything they gave to entertainment, because like I said, guys like Ozzy, they don't come around very often. I mean, they're once in every couple hundred years guys that do some stuff like that. But yeah, rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. Jeremy, I don't know if you're going to stick around or not. I know you didn't get a chance to actually watch the movie. You're a busy man.
There it is. There you read it. Yeah. No, yeah. I just wanted to come on and say a couple words for Ozzy. That was kind of my whole contribution to it. So broke out all the purple, the shirt, the bandana, the light, which you can't see because it's still going to be daytime till about till like 10 o'clock at night. Whatever. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Just sucks losing somebody that's pretty instrumental to the heavy metal genre, and just like you said, that just transcends like generations of people. You say Ozzy, you know exactly who it is. You hear a Crazy Train, you're like, yeah, that's fucking Ozzy. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I didn't watch this movie. I'm sorry. You guys have fun and keep fucking rocking.
You should though. When you get a chance, you should, because it's a really good movie. I think you're gonna dig it.
I'm sure I will. It's John Cusack.
Directed by James Mangold, also, by the way. So we've done a few Mangold movies. I think you're gonna dig it. But you want to shout something out before you leave?
Hopefully on Thursday for the third goddamn time in a row, we'll maybe do Clerks 2.
I assure you, we're going to review this movie.
I feel like this is a meme that started like, oh, we're trying really hard this Thursday. And then like y'all never get to it. That would be kind of funny, actually.
I'm not even supposed to review this today. Like I have a poster out there ready to go. I need to make the I assure you we're reopened sign. Like I need to have one where it's just like I assure you we're going to I promise. So that's hopefully Thursday. So I'll be fucking fingers crossed. This is what, the third time's a charm, hopefully. So
with any luck.
Yeah.
With any luck. But shout out, Jeremy. We'll see you on Thursday. You'll be running the show on Thursday. You usually do, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll see you then, brother.
I got it. Okay.
Adios.
Later. Yeah. Then. So we'll get to this movie now because it's a radical movie. I love it. I gotta redo some because I don't want to have it all fucking jacked up like that. I gotta have my shit straight. There we go. With new layout now, it's gonna be a little more symmetrical, which is gonna make my heart happy. But we are here, of course, to talk about the movie Identity. Identity is a 2003 American slasher film directed by James Mangold, written by Michael Cooney, and starring John Cusack, the late great Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet, alongside Alfred Molina, Clea DuVall, and Rebecca De Mornay. Inspired by Agatha Christie's 1939 whodunit, And Then There Were None, the film follows 10 strangers in an isolated hotel who are temporarily cut off from the rest of the world and mysteriously killed off one by one. Several events which take place in the hours before the character's arrival are introduced at key moments in the film using reverse chronology structure, and in a parallel story, a murderer awaits a verdict at a crucial trial that will determine whether he will be executed for his crimes. Identity went on to gross $52.1 million in the United States and Canada and $38.1 million overseas. In total, the film grossed over $90 million worldwide, making it a box office success against its $28 million budget. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 63% based on 171 reviews, with an average rating of 6.4 out of 10. The site's consensus review reads, quote, "Identity is a film that will divide audiences. The twist of its plot will either impress or exasperate you." I think that's a little unfair. I actually thought the movie was better than that, but I understand why some people might think that. I don't know. Tex, give me your quick thoughts on Identity before we get into the spoilery stuff.
Yeah, when you recommended this one, I had mixed this movie up with another film because I knew it was an early 2000s horror film, but there were so many that came out in this era that were very similar that I was thinking of a completely different one. So when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, I remember this one, but I had forgotten the twist at the end. So I got to completely retake the ride of what this, story was telling. It's it's not a great film. It's good. I can definitely see the divisiveness within the twist of how they throw a lot at you. Like, I almost feel like this story would be better as like a mini series because they show a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, how did Amanda Peet, or like all the cash that she gets in that one scene? There's a lot of little stuff. And they're like, oh, well, we went to Vegas to get married just because she's, fake pregnant, yada, yada, whatever. This is it's a very Tarantino-esque, very Pulp Fiction, very Reservoir Dogs, kind of the way it tells the story. It's an enjoyable watch. It's definitely one that I had fun with, but yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking this one down.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite thrillers that I've watched. I mean, I know that it's a bit slow paced at times, but I think it's slow paced for a purpose. I think it's very deliberate with the storytelling. I credit that a lot to the good writing. I think it's wildly entertaining. For one, it's got a cast of absolute killers. I mean, the late great Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet, who was on her ascension at this point, Cusack, who has just been good forever. I mean, going back to the '80s stuff. Then you have legends like Rebecca De Mornay, who in this movie is still an absolute smoke show. It's loaded with people who can act and who can really bring strangely intriguing characters to life. I remember the first time watching the movie a million years ago, like, okay, this is a whodunit. I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, because this person's dead. This person's dead. As I yank my microphone off my shirt. This person's dead. This person's dead. I'm like, who the hell else makes sense as the killer? But you kind of overlook all the stuff that's happening on the side with Alfred Molina's character talking to the judge. You're so wrapped up trying to figure out who that is. It isn't until it's kind of late in the game that it gives you the reveal, like halfway through the third act. You're like, oh, now this all makes sense. And once that puts everything into perspective, you're like, holy shit, I still don't know who's doing this. It's like, what's actually happening here? And then, of course, that crazy ending that only great celluloid can deliver. But I think it's a very well done film. It's very well written. I think the pacing of this movie is really important. If the pacing gets out of whack even a little bit, it's going to throw this movie way off. Like I said, I think it's a slow burn at points, but it's deliberately slow for the purpose of the narrative and the storytelling. It's like it's giving you tension, but it's also giving you a minute to breathe. And I think that's really cool because when that stuff all does pop off at the end, I mean, it punches you right in the chest with your lungs full of air, and it hits hard, and it takes you a minute to try to fucking understand all of it. But it's a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and get down into all the good spoiler stuff. I mean, let's talk first about James Mangold. I don't have a picture of James Mangold here, but let's talk about James Mangold. We've done several of his movies already. We don't want to go into his background too much, his catalog too much. But let's just talk about how he did with this movie. What did you think of James Mangold's direction for this film?
This is kind of a mixed bag because it's like I said a minute ago. This is a very intriguing film that I almost felt like he threw too much at this. Little things like the moment where the little boy sees Jake Busey's character out the window, and like a few minutes before that, you find out the backstory of like, oh, his dad got violent, and like he kind of stares. They have that moment where they first look at each other, and it almost plays it off as, is that his dad, or Amanda Peet getting the money out of the deal. There's a lot to like in this movie, and there's a lot that I had fun with. But what he did with this film, obviously they were going for the psychological thriller route because they show you a little bit of gore. You see whenever Rebecca De Mornay's in the dryer or whatever, you see a little bit of blood, not a lot. I like more than I dislike about this. It's I think I would have structured it maybe a bit differently, and I almost felt like they needed to cut some of the fat, some of that slow burn you were talking about a minute ago, because it does weigh this down a bit. But overall, I was happy with what he did. It's there's definitely some choices made, and it's actually kind of funny. I stopped watching Hell Motel to watch another killer hotel movie. So I was right in my wheelhouse here lately. But like I said, overall happy. There's definitely some changes I would have made. I think I would have stuck to the kills more, show just a bit more. I mean, like when you just randomly walk in and see Jake Busey with a baseball bat down his throat, like, number one, how does that fit B? You don't show me any more of that. Like this is a show don't tell format. So, I would have made a few different, plot choices differently, but he did fine with what he did with it.
Yeah, I tried really, really hard to find the picture of Jake Busey with a baseball bat down his throat. For some reason, I could not come across it.
Right. Well, and it's like the fat part. It's like the end of the baseball. If it was like the handle, then yeah, I could see that. But you've got a full-on Louisville slugger. He's ready for the home run derby with that thing. Like, okay, this is, you got to be like Jason Voorhees to do that to somebody. I don't see a Jason Voorhees here, but whatever, dude. Okay.
I've got a fun piece of trivia about the dummy they used for Jake Busey's dead body that we'll go into after we get to the end of it. It's kind of funny,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the movie. Like I said, it is a bit of a slow burn at a couple points in the movie, but I do think it's because I think it's more tension building than anything else. Because you have to have these moments in a movie like this where you're kind of letting things simmer a bit. That's how you get that chili to taste really great, is you let it simmer for a while, get all those flavors mixed in.
Oh.
I think that's kind of what he was trying to do here. There wasn't a whole lot of exposition in this film that didn't have to do with the characters. When you finally figure out what's happening at the end, how all this stuff, including is mixed up with what's going on with the Alfred Molina and the guy and the judge and all that, how it's all mixed up, it does kind of hit you out of the blue. There's not a lot of exposition that connects the two things. So you spend half the movie kind of wondering, why the hell am I watching two different things in two different parts of the world happen here? But when it does kind of get you at the end, it hits just right, because they don't really allude to it at all until that like 3 or 4 minutes where Cusack is starting to put things together, and then he has that turn to where we'll get into that part in a minute. But yeah, I really did like the directing of this movie. I mean, for one, like I said, I can't talk about the writing of this movie enough. I mean, movies like this are so hard to write good.
You have to be a very smart writer to do something like this.
Well, because there's a lot of dips and turns and things that you have to do really smoothly but quickly.
Yeah.
And if you miss them, missing one, you might be able to slide. If you miss more than that, you really run the danger of kind of stopping the movie in its tracks and kind of knocking people out of it unintentionally. The way that he wrote it was fantastic. I mean, it really is a great whodunit. Now, granted, it wasn't necessarily an original work. It was adapted from an Agatha Christie thing. And herself was actually a fantastic mystery writer to begin with. But, I mean, you could have messed that up really, really bad on paper in the writing process, and they didn't. And James Mangold kind of organizing, putting the puzzle pieces together in just the right way to where it keeps you enthralled, even in those down times. Because there's really only one part where you get a lot of deep exploration to a character, and that's when John Cusack is taking the pictures. He's talking to Amanda Peet's character, and you're getting some of his background, being the cop in LA and all that, and why he left being a cop, that whole story. That's that one time in the movie where they try to let you grab an emotional connection to a character. You don't really get that emotional connection to anybody. You don't get it to the kid and the parents who are wrapped up in all this. Rebecca De Mornay is not on screen long enough for you to give a shit who she is. Although, like I said, she is still kind of a smoke show in this movie. Rebecca De Mornay is hot.
She got a pocketbook full of money too. My God!
But she's a movie star, so she's carrying cash.
Oh yeah.
And this was 2003. People were still carrying cash in 2003.
Yeah. That was like an inch. It was like an inch and a half of money, and she just flops that 50 on the table. Like, my God, that surely those all aren't like ones to just make it look good or something. Like, my goodness gracious,
Megan Knott's with a stack of ones. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love the direction of this film. I mean, I thought Mangold did a great job. He's done a great job in a lot of films. We've talked about several films of his. I mean, even some of the not so great ones, like Indiana Jones and the Dial of my crab or whatever the hell that movie was. But I mean, he's also done.
I like how people have called that the Dial of Dysentery.
Yeah, there's no shortage of fun names for that movie. But he also did give us movies like Logan. He also did give us movies like Logan, which I still think should have gotten nominated for Best Picture.
Well, and see, that's one thing. The old man Logan story. he was able to tell, like, because obviously he didn't have the rights. I mean, to do a true old man Logan, you need Hulk and Hawkeye and all of those characters that Fox didn't have rights to. You know, they were still owned. The X-Men were still a Fox property at that time. So his version of Logan is, I mean, it's one of the best. I don't even really call it a superhero movie. It's a Western with Wolverine in it. It's a tremendous film. It's great.
Yeah, it's not a comic book movie per se in the way that we think of them. It's very much its own film. He did the original, the first Wolverine, not a very good movie, to be perfectly honest. Identity.
I like it. I'm one of the few that actually liked X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's one of my guilty pleasure movies. I know it's not good, but I enjoy it. So
he did Girl Interrupted, which I think is a great movie. He did after doing this movie, he did Walk the Line, the biopic about Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, yeah, that one was good.
Yeah. He directed Ford v Ferrari, which won a bunch of awards, like all the awards. He also did the Bob Dylan biopic that just came out, A Complete Unknown, which I haven't seen yet.
Did he do I Saw the Light with Tom Hiddleston, the Hank Williams movie, or was that somebody else?
That was somebody else, I'm pretty sure. Let me go.
I couldn't remember who that was, but that one was another good film that never really got talked about. It kind of came and went, but it was good too.
Yeah, no, he did not do that film, but
okay.
Yeah, he's done a lot of cool stuff. He was also a creative consultant on John Wick, the first John Wick movie, as well as a story consultant for Deadpool and Wolverine. So he had his hand on that one as well. Right. But yeah, I mean, I thought he did a fantastic job directing this film. I think it's a very well put together film.
I think he's going to be directing the Swamp Thing movie in the new DCU as well. From what I've read. Yes. Heard that. And I'm very excited for that because I love Swamp Thing. It's one of my favorite comic properties.
Yeah, in February 23, Mangold was reported by THR to be in early talks to write and direct a film based on the Swamp Thing as part of James Gunn's and Peter Safran's newly announced Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters, a film slate for DC Universe. After the release of his Indiana Jones and Bob Dylan biopic, 2 months later in April, Mangold confirmed that he had been hired to write and direct Swamp Thing, with Gunn soon confirming that he approached Mangold to do the film upon charting the DCU storylines, describing the film as a passion project of Mangold's. In April 2023, during Star Wars Celebration, Lucasfilm announced that Mangold's involvement as director of a future Star Wars film whose story will go back to the Dawn of the Jedi and explore the origins of the Force, which I think is actually a great idea if they want to try to turn that franchise around. Set about 25,000
for about 20 years. That's just
set around 25,000 years before the events of the Star Wars prequel trilogy. So
they want James Gold to direct Knights of the Old Republic. That's basically what they're saying.
You know what? If he can breathe new life into it, fantastic. Just don't dials of destiny, no crystal skulls will be fun.
I think Star Wars is a corpse that's turning into goo at this point. You can't breathe life into that. Right?
It's been mishandled. It's been mishandled. The whole thing is just like Marvel's.
It wasn't mishandled. It was took out back and shot in the head. That's what Star Wars is.
I would call that mishandling. but I would certainly not call that a proper way to handle the franchise. But yeah, sure. But let's get into the cast now. I mean, good God, it's those two right there. That I would pay twice. I would pay twice the amount of money to watch either one of those two in a movie, especially Ray Liotta. I mean, that guy was just so damn good. Tex, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on the cast and who stood out to you the most.
Yeah, this is a fun cast. This is a very quirky, a very distinctively different cast because you have John Cusack playing the straight-laced guy. You've got Ray Liotta who, you know, without spoiling, I mean, hell, this is a movie from 2003. If you haven't seen it by this point, it's on you. But, you know, you think he's just kind of an idiot cop in the beginning. He doesn't even really know how to work the radio and whatever. And then you learn some other things about him, especially when he takes his jacket off. That's a big scene. But the Amanda Peet, we get a quick moment of her kind of conning the old guy out of money in the beginning, and then she just wants to grow oranges. But the two people for me that really stood out were one, John C. McGinley, the dad that do you think he's playing like an autistic kind of thing? Or I couldn't tell what, like, his character had something wrong with him because, like, steering to the skid, slow down to a stop. Like, he was very Elon Musk about how he was going about his role. I liked what they did with him, but by far my favorite was Jake Busey. I love Gary and Jake Busey both. They're both they're just wacky. Like, anytime you see them, whether it's Contact or From Dusk Till Dawn, the series, Jake Busey played Sex Machine in that, the Tom Savini role from the movie. I've always been a fan of the Busey family, and the teeth he's just got that look of a madman. And for the little bit that he gets in this movie, that's my biggest complaint was we should have got more of Jake Busey. But yeah, he's by far my standout of all of them. I thought Jake Busey done really well. He plays the smart ass, quippy kind of bad guy. Oh, I've got secrets too, and that smile that he looks like he's about to, do something evil or whatever. But yeah, it was he's my favorite from this one.
Yeah, I really wish I could have found that picture of his dead body with the baseball bat jammed down his throat. Because this is not a slasher film. It is definitely a mystery film with little elements. There's not a lot of blood and gore, which that's kind of like my one knock on the movie is I would have made it a little bloodier. But but he is so good. He's really good in a movie. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie called Contact with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
He plays a diabolical character in that movie.
Yeah.
Like you believe that he's kind of a little bit psychotic, a little bit bent. And sorry, I was trying to do something else while you were talking. I was trying to do a production thing, so I missed a step. But yeah, he's been so good in everything. I mean, we talked about him in Starship Troopers. How cool he was in that movie. He's got a really cool look to him that I dig. He's always fun to see on screen. For me, it's like, God, how do you look? I mean, these two. I'll go back to this picture because I mean, what else can you say? Cusack's been good for a long time. I mean, at this point, he was already well in his career. Same thing with Ray Liotta. I mean, at this point in their careers, they're already A-listers. Ray Liotta, God rest him. There was nothing he was bad in. It's like he is so good at everything. So having both these guys on screen at the same time was phenomenal. I mean, it was just great. Not to mention you've got Alfred Molina, who the best Spider-Man villain ever.
He is doing his best Dr. Loomis impression in this movie. You can't convince me otherwise. Listen to the way he speaks, and then go listen to Donald Pleasance in Halloween. He is speaking exactly like like Dr. Loomis was. I picked that up immediately, especially with the opening of the tapes. I'm like, is Dr. Loomis here?
Who am I speaking to right now? But yeah, and obviously it's like Amanda Peet. She like I said, her career was kind of hitting the upswing big time when this movie came out, because it was, I think, right around this time that like The Whole Nine Yards came out, that comedy.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Was this before or after the whole 9 and then the whole 10 yards came out?
I couldn't remember. I'll have to look. Let me find out real quick.
Because I know like The Whole 9 Yards is. I mean, I know she's been in a lot of big movies, but I'd say that's probably her big, like at least that I can remember. I mean, because the way she's interacting with Matthew Perry in that film, it's hilarious.
Yeah, The Whole 9 Yards came out 3 years before this.
Okay, so she was already a name.
She had done Saving Silverman, High Crimes, Changing Lanes, which wasn't a bad movie. Then she did Identity. Then Something's Got to Give, which is kind of a fun little rom-com thing. And then on and on and on down everything she'd done. 2012, which she also played with, where she played John Cusack's wife.
With John Cusack, yeah. They play husband and wife, or ex-husband and ex-wife in that movie.
Yeah, she had The Whole 9 Yards in 2000 and The Whole 10 Yards after the year after this movie in 2004. So yeah, I mean, she was definitely on the upswing of her career. I mean, I'm trying to think of anything before that that I had seen that she was in, even in a small role. She was in that movie One Fine Day with Clooney and Pfeiffer. I don't think I ever saw it. Let's see. Never heard of that one. Never heard of that one. Yeah, I'm lost until we get down to The Whole 9 Yards is the first thing that I can think of. But yeah, Amanda Peet's fantastic in this too. Also, I mean, Clea DuVall. God, I've always had. She's no doubt been one of my celebrity crushes for a long time. I love her look. I just kind of love her screen presence. I think she's knockout gorgeous. she's also another great character actor that has never really carried a film on her own, but she has definitely been a part of some really cool movies. And then, of course, Rebecca De Mornay, who I've been watching. I don't know. This goes back a little ways. There was a movie back in the day called Feds. I don't know if you ever saw the movie or not. It's a comedy about these two girls.
I don't think so.
It's a funny movie. You'll get a kick out of it. It's about these two girls that get accepted to the FBI Academy, and there's all this crazy, funny shit that goes on while they're training. And then, it's a comedy. It's a comedy. It was a girl power movie before girl power became a thing, so it was fun. It didn't take itself seriously at all. It's got a lot of great. Fred Dalton Thompson, the late Fred Dalton Thompson, former senator from Tennessee and actor, great actor in his own right, plays the FBI director or something in it. It's a fun movie. It's a fun movie to watch if you can find it somewhere. It's a fun comedy. But yeah, she's been so good for so long. And then God, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. He just played Superman's dad. Shit, I'm mad at myself now. I gotta remember his name.
I did not know that was Superman's dad. I did not know that.
Yeah,
I didn't recognize him if he wasn't crying. Is he going to be okay? I didn't recognize him.
Pruitt Taylor Vince. I had to look it up because I don't know why I was drawing a blank in the name. But yeah, he's the one who just played Superman's dad in Superman last week. But yeah, he's also fantastic in this movie too, because it's a really complicated job to try to play someone who's got multiple personality disorders and not just look like you're the same person using different voices. You're like, I'm this guy over here. No, I'm this guy over here. It's hard to make it look like it's real. But man, he pulls it off great in this movie. And I've seen him in a couple of movies where I'm like, damn, he's actually really good. It's kind of a shame that over his career, and I don't really know how long his career is, but it's like over the course of his career, he hasn't really had a chance to like carry a film because he's fantastic. He was in Natural Born Killers, Mississippi Burning, JFK. It's like, I mean,
solid resume.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I would kill to be in any of those movies. Constantine. He was in the series Deadwood.
That's what I was trying. I know I recognize him. He played the priest in Constantine. That's where I recognize him from. That's where I see him at.
He's been in a TV series, The Mentalist. He was in that movie.
That was a good show.
Yeah, he was
Simon Baker in it. I like.
He was in that movie Bird Box that I couldn't fucking stand. He did a small turn on Agents.
Was that the Sandra Bullock one where they had to wear?
God, that movie was awful.
Things over their eyes. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it was horrible. I hated that movie. That sucked.
Yeah, that movie was terrible. But yeah, I mean, the guy's been in some great movies. I mean, some highly acclaimed movies. He's just a character actor. But you know what? Sometimes that just works. I mean,
you know what? Character actors have some of the longest careers because you don't have to be a stunning leading man or lady. I mean, those, people like George Clooney, used to be cast in everything because he was, the number one hunk or whatever. But, you eventually age out of that. If you're a character actor and you have an interesting look, you can work for a lot longer. You may not be leading man, but you keep work steady. So, career-wise, it works out.
Yeah, but again, just a fantastic cast all around. You can't knock any of it at all. It's such a good cast. Let's talk a little bit about the plot now. Again, it's kind of pulled off of a Agatha Christie book. Then There Were None. I kind of dig the plot. I love the way it was done. Give me your thoughts on the plot. Did you dig it, or was there anything else you'd have changed?
Yeah, this is a very intriguing. Like when you're watching this feels like all of the hotel scenes feel like you're watching. This is like a cousin to like Psycho, like a Hitchcock Psycho movie or something. Because this is like the longest night ever, and it never stops raining. Like for the amount it rains in this movie, that whole place should have been like washed down the hill or something. And then it's like, when I was talking about at the beginning, I kind of took this ride for the first time again because I'm like, oh wait, they blew a tire. Oh, then this happened. Like there's so many super easy, barely inconveniences that you kind of question, is this real? Even before they let you know none of it's real. Like how everybody's it's laid out too easily. So automatically for anybody who has seen 5 movies before, you kind of question what's going on. And for me, the scene that that really stood out of, okay, this isn't real, was the baseball bat scene, because how did tiny little, fake hotel attendant just get the baseball bat down the dude's throat? Because like I said, he ain't no Jason Voorhees. And then, stuff starts happening just crazy, weird, left and right, and everything else. And this is a very smart movie. I do believe this plot has a lot of fat on it that I would have trimmed. You don't have to be smart and be a slow burn. Like, you kind of have to pick either or in a way. So I would have sped up some of the moments. There was a good bit that I would have trimmed, but overall, I'm happy with it. The reveal at the end of, Amanda Peet's character getting to the Florida, and then, the kid's there and she digs out the #1 keychain. Very clever way to wrap it all up. And then you see, oh boy, doing him in, Alfred Molina there at the end. I like how they laid it out. I would have trimmed some of there wasn't a lot of exposition. I would have trimmed some of what was there, and I would have sped it up a bit. But it was fine for what it was.
Yeah, it reminds me of just how fun the murder mysteries can be.
Yeah.
I mean, now, and I still, like I said, I still would have put a little bit more gore into it. I mean, Jake Busey's character notwithstanding, that's kind of a cool horror kill, is to see him looking up with a bat right down his throat. That was kind of a cool visual. But other than that, you don't really get to see a lot except for bodies laying up against the wall with blood on the wall. I want a little bit of blood and spit and ash. You kind of get it when George C. McGinley's character gets crushed by the truck, but even that's not it's not very visual. I mean, you see it happen, which is kind of a cool thing in the moment, but you don't really get to see the aftermath all that much. You don't get to see his body smashed. And even when you do get kind of a close up of his body, it's kind of in passing. It's just as they're backing the truck up so they can check his body. You don't really get a chance to see any of the visual stuff. I would have added a little bit to that. I love the plot because, like I said, it's been so long since I've seen a good murder mystery that wasn't almost a spoof. I mean, yeah, you can watch it in something like Scary Movie where they try to make those murder mysteries with goofy horror, but it's not the same. I want a real murder mystery that has stakes. And this is the first one in a long time that I can see this had, with the exception of stuff like Knives Out, which I don't think is the same thing, but it's still.
I can't watch Ryan Johnson films. I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, it's rare. It's rare to see a good murder mystery, and it's because I used to love reading books and stuff like that when I was young, and I haven't gotten those in movie form in a good way for a long time. So I love the plot. I thought it was fun. It was fun to kind of dive back into this thing. It kind of reminded me of those old Choose Your Adventure books from back in the 80s I used to read when I was 9 years old. but I was just along for the ride. I wasn't deciding where to go. You know what I mean?
I guess that Clue remake by Ryan Reynolds that we talked about years ago now, I guess that just fell through and never happened because I haven't heard anything since. I guess they just gave up on it.
Yeah, I've looked a couple of times. As far as I know, it's not happening.
Yeah, because if they were to do a modern version of Clue, I could see them doing something similar to this, a little bit darker, a little bit whatever. But yeah, plot wise, the mom with the 5-inch gash on her neck. Yeah, you're not just sewing that up and she's fine. I'm sorry, that's not how that works. You've got half of your neck slit open like that. You're hitting that carotid artery. She's dead by that point.
I've seen people survive some crazy stuff, but look, it's a movie. I'll accept it for the purpose of the movie.
Well, and see, there's one thing I will say, whether it's the truck blowing up, saying, "Oh, where's the bodies?" or the mom that gets hit at 60 miles an hour and her only injury is the cut on her neck. No, that's a broken neck or something right there. All of these things, the guy getting the baseball bat down the throat. I think the reason why Mangold didn't really show that was because obviously it's bullshit and none of it happened. So that's why they didn't show it. They showed you, oh, this thing happened, and now we're moving on to the next thing. That's why they didn't spend as much time on the gore and the whatever. I believe this was rated R, right? I'm pretty sure it was. They could have showed it.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's why they didn't really focus on it, because you're dealing with an unreliable narrator here. That's literally just making it up as he goes between his 15 different or his 10 different personalities, whatever. But and then like the kid, number one, you never trust the kid that doesn't speak in a horror film. Anybody who's ever seen 5 horror movies, that there's a reason why that kid ain't talking. And it's like I said, that moment where Jake Busey is being walked to the hotel room and the kid is staring at him through the window. Right before that, we learned that, oh yeah, his dad went violent. Then John C. McGinley comes around. I'm pretty sure that's father and son. They just never said it in the film. Narratively, it would make sense, especially with that moment they had between the two of them. But, I don't know. That's just my own headcanon I put into it. But, just a few minor things I would have changed and sped up a little bit. But, not bad.
I stumbled across a site where I might be able to find an image of Jake Busey deep throating the baseball bat. Give me a second. My problem is these aren't organized chronologically throughout the movie, so I kind of have to. I wish I'd have saw this yesterday. I could have gotten a couple better pictures, but yeah, I'll continue to roll through these while
But yeah, while you're looking for that, I'll just kind of hold it down. But yeah, there's the visual stylings of this. Like I said, when you're in the hotel sequences, it feels like a dream. Even before you realize, oh, none of this is real. It feels very surreal in the way that it looks and it feels. And like I said, it feels like it's a Alfred Hitchcock Presents or like a Twilight Zone episode or something. John Cusack, the way he's laying it out. Oh, I was a cop, and then I saw this Mexican woman, and I had to give her a reason to live, and yada yada, whatever. The way a lot of this is laid out, you can really feel it's kind of hard. Hang on.
Well, the film is claustrophobic at times, which I find really fun. Because that's one of the great horror movies will make you feel. Yeah, great horror movies will make you feel like not just like you are there, but you are in danger. And one of the ways that they do that is by making you feel like the space that you're in is not very big. Because I've read that everybody gets a little bit of claustrophobia. Some people just handle it better than others. But when you can sit in a theater, in nice air-conditioned theater surrounded by your friends watching a movie and feel like the air is thinning around you, like the walls are closing in, that's a great movie will do that to you. And if it's very well done, then that's what a movie can do. That's what this movie tries to do at times. It tries to make you feel like the world.
It's got great mood and it's got great atmosphere, I think is what you're kind of saying.
That's what I like about, you were talking about how it's constantly raining, which is not a comfortable place to be in. Even if you like rain, it's not comfortable to have to.
And it's not just raining. It's like hurricane rain. It's like severe rain. It is heavy.
Yeah, and you're confined to this space. You can't get away. You can't jump on an airplane and go to another place and have the story follow you there. You are right here with what's happening, and you can't get away. And so you can't escape what's happening as a viewer, which makes it much better.
And it's not just the rain; it's the road is flooded out on the west. There's a gigantic hole in the road to the east, 2 miles away. You're in the middle of nowhere. They have put you in this shanty town of a little hotel that looks like it's in the middle of nothing. So there's no escape for these people. There's not going to be an ambulance that just magically comes through. So that setup of it's kind of like what makes the Alien film scary. You're on a ship in space all by yourself. Nobody can hear you scream. You're in the middle of the desert in a pouring lightning and thunder and rainstorm. Ain't nobody coming to help. And people just keep keeling over in weird things for no reason. And you keep getting little weird hints and yada yadas and whatever. It definitely sets you in a no hope kind of mood.
I think I might be zeroing in on this the money shot of Jake Busey.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, just in case you can't find it, the shot we're talking about, I mean, you can just imagine it. It's basically Jake Busey. He's wearing his orange prisoner jumpsuit. He's been tied to a chair, kind of hog-tied hog-tied style, arms and legs tied behind him. And imagine about a third of a baseball bat shoved down his throat with his head all the way back. It's a gnarly shot from the side. Like, it's not grotesque. It's not like Terrifier or Gore where, there's bodily fluids coming out of them. This isn't a Saw movie, but it's more shocking imagery that you get. And what makes it even scarier is when they go back, the chair is empty there, and there's the baseball bat sitting against the wall like nothing happened. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Trippy shit.
I feel like I'm getting close to it, but because there's Jake Busey right there. He's still alive at this point. But where am I in the? I want to find it now. I'm on a mission. But let's get to the ending now. It's a pretty wild ending, and to break it down a little bit, basically you do come to find out that the guy that Pruitt Taylor Vince plays has multiple personality disorder, and all of these personalities that exist in his head are what we're seeing play out at this hotel. They're responsible. It's these personalities that are going after one another and killing one another, or one in particular. I thought that was just a wild connection, because if you're watching this movie for the first time, maybe you don't realize what's going on, but it becomes really clear really fast, and it hits you kind of like a M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong twist at the end. Before he was even doing it, I think it was after. No, it was around this time that Sixth Sense came out, so maybe it was somewhere around there.
What was the multiple personality movie that James McAvoy did? Was it Unbreakable or
Split?
What was it?
Split was the one that he did.
Split, yeah. Kind of very similar vein like that. I mean, done differently, but kind of similar.
Yeah, I thought the ending was very, very cool. Again, it really does kind of turn the whole whodunit thing upside down. What do you think of the ending? Did it work for you, or would you have changed anything about the ending?
I liked it. It works. It's the ending had to be that way, considering how the opening of the film is, because we're opening this movie with a very Dr. Loomis sounding Alfred Molina talking to somebody, and you're seeing shocking imagery, this and that. And then we see John Cusack, and then we see this, and it's like, okay, what did I just watch, and why am I seeing? So the wraparound portion of this had to close up that time loop, because the way it lays out is you don't really know what you're dealing with. And then when we finally see Alfred Molina, and like, I don't know how many towns have crazy hearings or not at midnight. I don't know how legal that is. That's a new one, but hey, it's movie world, whatever. But the way it plays out with Amanda Peet getting to Florida, she's in her orange grove. And I love that flatbed truck she drives. Gorgeous truck. But I like how they're like, oh, see, he's not crazy anymore. He's down to the one personality. But once again, there comes that silent kid that you never trust in a horror film, because they always go nuts. And then, the kid goes, what do you say, talking to him? Horrors don't get a second chance, or whatever he said. And then the kid just does in Amanda Peet. And then, of course, that leads to Superman's dad doing in Dr. Ock in real life. So Superman's dad kills a Spider-Man. I think that's something to be said for that. So there you go.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to find the shot, and boy, this is a great death if I've ever seen.
There you go.
Like you said, not even the skinny end, not even the handle of the bat.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He put the meat in.
He got the sweet spot.
Right, I'm not sure Mark McGuire could have hit a home run that good. Whatever. Man.
I'm glad I was able to find that picture. It goes to that piece of trivia that I have when we get to that point. But I love the ending. Like I said, I love the whodunits, and I especially love the ones that when you get done with the journey, you're kind of exasperated and surprised at the ending. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes movies like this so enjoyable. It's not just the conclusion; it's the ride. The ride feels worth it when you get to that crazy ending. the whole idea of the kid and the one girl go to the car and the car blows up, but the kid just walks away. I was like, I'll accept it for movie purposes, but I'm like, I feel like that if you're someone at the level of James Mangold, who maybe was a little early in his directing career at this point, but if you get to somebody like James Mangold, who's pretty good at what he does, that you might be able to organize a scene like that a little bit better so it's not so obvious, because they're all sitting there looking at the car burning, exploding. The kid's like 10 feet away, walking away. I'm like, I know your attention is on the burning car because you think that those people just died. Can't your peripheral see that this kid's just walking out in the darkness? Come on.
But that whole kid, walking away from the exploded truck and all of the crazy things that the non-existent kid does in those dream scenes. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not taking away any points for that, because it's that even in the movie, it's not real. So all of that's literally playing out in his own mind. So for me, that doesn't have to make sense. Whether it's the baseball bat, kid blowing up the truck, the kid suffocating mom, the kid doing everything that the kid does in this movie. I mean, how exactly, like, out of any of them, I think the worst offender is, how does that kid get Rebecca De Mornay into that dryer all by himself? That's the scene I wanted to see in this movie. Like, how does that happen? But, of course, we don't get it. We just, get the little bit that we do. But, the real life killing of that gorgeous shot where they're going down that desert highway and, the van's, doing its best, swirling routines and whatever. That makes up for it of kind of, I guess I'm giving a pass to the dream kills that the kid does, because none of them happened anyway, so he did shit.
Yeah, he didn't really kill all those adult people.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It didn't really happen. So like I said, he didn't really stick a grown woman in her dryer, which I would love to see that, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I would have to research this a little bit. This multiple personality dissociative disorder, whatever the long name of that stuff is, multiple personality disorder. We'll use the shorter version of it that I've heard before. It's interesting to think about the idea. I've never known anybody that has that. I've never obviously dealt with it myself. So I don't have any personal experiences to pull on, but I've never thought that it was possible outside of this movie that the personalities could start killing each other. That's kind of a wild concept. One of the things I like about the way they wrote this movie is that's kind of what they did. There was one of these personalities that was taking out the others to be the dominant personality, which is not something I in my mind, in my head canon, I feel like it may be a thing, but I've never heard about it. Not that I've done a whole lot of research. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I brought up Split with James McAvoy a minute ago, because he had multiple personalities, but they were all afraid of the Beast, like the big hulked out, kind of guy that he turns into. Like the old woman, the little kid, the rest of them that he does, all of them were aware of the Beast personality. And, they were all like, oh, yeah, we don't mess with that. Which, obviously that film came much later than this one. But kind of in that same vein, that's the only other film I can think of that even plays with something like this. But,
yeah, I also love when John Cusack finally puts it all together. When he's walking around to where the bodies still lay and they're all gone. The finding of the keys, 109876, as you got in your header down there. When he finally puts it all together, look, he's obviously the smart one of the personalities, because I think he realizes early on that Ray Liotta is not actually a cop. It's not just the whole not being able to get the radio to work thing. It's like, because there's a point where he's talking to Amanda Peet's character. She's like, "Oh, I'm supposed to just trust you, the failed cop who had to take medical." He goes, as opposed to the other cop out there who just lost his fucking murderous suspect.
who just lost his person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, whatever. You should pick your poison, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's when he starts to put it all together, and in that moment where he shows up and he's the one sitting in the place of Pruitt's character, and this is one of my favorite shots in the movie. John Cusack grabs the mirror, looks at it, he sees that other face, and he's like, "What did you do to my face? What did you do to my face?" It's that moment where one of them is realizing that something else is happening here, and I think it's interesting that Alfred Molina's character, he asked several times in the movie, "Who am I talking to right now?" Because I feel like with all the work that he's done with this guy, that he knows that that John Cusack's character, Ed Dakota, is the one who's the one ally that he has in there inside that.
I was a
dude's
cop
mind.
in L.A. I had an apartment in Hollywood or whatever.
He's the one guy that's inside that guy's mind that is actually an ally to him. They can actually help him put all this shit together. And so when John Cusack goes back into the matrix of this guy's mind, so to speak, he after going around seeing all this stuff, he's the one who's like, okay, now I know what's going on. Now I know what the real stuff is. I have to go deal with this guy who is probably the one who's killing everybody, because it can't be me because I'm the good guy. It can't be her. She just wants to go grow oranges in Florida. It's got to be this guy who I think at that point they had realized he wasn't actually a cop anyway, that he was one of the escaped convicts with Gary Busey, and they had killed the guy, the whole hole in the back with the blood of his jacket and all that stuff. So I thought that was really cool. And I also thought it was a nice little moment when they just kind of go at each other. They kind of like go face to face. They're just shooting each other like from point blank range multiple times. I was like, that's cool. It's not like it's a prolonged gunfight where you're trying to go for any action. It was cool because it's like Ray Liotta not being in on the gag. It's like he's just trying to like kill the other guy to get away, whereas the Ed Dakota character, Cusack's character, is like, he can shoot me because I don't really exist. I need to die anyway, so that she can be the one that lives, and maybe this will all work out for her. I just got to make sure this guy dies. So we're just going to shoot each other in the belly 4 or 5 times each as we're standing face to face, and that's just going to be how this thing ends. I thought that was kind of a wild way to do things. Again, I would have liked to have seen a little more blood and spit and ass. Maybe let that gunfight last about 5 seconds longer, but I thought it was a really cool way to end it all.
That's one question I did have, because normally in stories like this, you have like one personality that's the psycho. Technically, you had the kid, Ray Liotta, Jake Busey. So you had a minimum of 3 out of his 10 personalities that were killers. That all did something bad.
Well, not even just that, but just so many of those personalities are kind of broken people. Because Clea DuVall's character is kind of a broken person. Her husband is kind of a broken person. Then, of course, the kid, obviously. Then you've got Ray Liotta's character, obviously not good. You've got what's his name? Jake Busey's character, obviously not good. There's so many people in there that are broken. There's really only 2 people in there. Maybe 4 if you count the parents of the kid, because they weren't generally.
Well, if you count John McGinsley, the mom, Amanda Peet's character was like a con woman, like prostitute or whatever she was.
She was just a prostitute. She wasn't a con woman, I would think. She was
right. So there was John Cusack. So it's almost a 50-50 split between good and bad personalities that were in there, but it's just normally they don't do it that way with this kind of stuff. I would have maybe done that differently, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't know if that kind of thing is possible. I have to.
I'm no Dr. Loomis. I haven't kept evil locked up for 15 years, so I don't know much about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of flipping through some stuff on Wikipedia about multiple personality disorder. It's Wikipedia, so take it as you will. But it does say in here that there is a dispute as to whether multiple personality disorders actually exist, or if it's just something that people come up with to try to beat the rat for whatever crimes they commit. But whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or whichever one of those doctors deals with this kind of thing. But let's go ahead and let's get into the trivia now. And I have some fairly juicy stuff. Let's see. What did I have first? Filming locations are kind of interesting. I got too many screens open right now. Okay, you're going to go away because I'm done looking at pictures. I'm not looking at multiple personality disorder right now. I'll do that later.
Who drives in the rain in a convertible, by the way? Like, put the freaking top up.
You know what? When you first see in their movie, it's not raining, so maybe she doesn't know. And let's face it, she's a Las Vegas hooker. Maybe she doesn't have a whole lot of money to buy a convertible with a top that works. So maybe it's just broken. I don't know. Of all the questions this movie gives me at times, I wasn't asking about the convertible.
That bugs me more than anything, because I'm like, you are ruining every stitch of that interior. Mold, the second it gets hot, mold that desert heat's gonna kill that interior. But whatever. That's just bad.
Let's see. The first piece of trivia, though, some location shootings occurred in Lancaster and other places in Los Angeles County, but the majority of the movie was shot on an enormous soundstage at Sony Studios in Culver City, which was the same studio that once housed the set for The Emerald City and The Wizard of Oz from 1939.
Oh, there've been a ton of movies shot at that studio.
I have heard. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if it's changed since this was many, many years ago, probably before even I was doing this channel, that there is actually that they've redone the floor of that particular soundstage, and that underneath the flooring is still yellow painted bricks from the Yellow Brick Road. I've heard that.
Wow.
I don't know
if that's true. I hope they preserved those and like took them out or something.
I would imagine, because they weren't actually golden bricks, there was bricks painted yellow, but I would imagine that they have been covered by flooring since then, that they have remained relatively untouched for almost the last century. So I would imagine by now they've probably dug that flooring up to do various things, remodels, things like that, because that soundstage is 100 years old almost. I would imagine they probably have, but if that's true, I think that'd be wild as shit. I think that'd be
that's like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoon studios, the animation studios. They sold that building when Hanna-Barbera shut down or whatever, and it became like a Planet Fitness or some kind of big gym. So like people are working out where they used to make wacky races, and Scooby-Doo and stuff. Like it's crazy what these things do.
Yeah, I really think there needs to be a bigger push to try to maybe not all
preserve
these places,
some,
but at least preserve some of these places where some of these great moments in history has happened. Because they just had Warner Ranch about 6 or 8 years ago, where they had filmed so many TV shows and movies. They sold the lot off and demolished it to sell it to some guy who was going to develop condos or something. And I'm like, do you realize the television history that has been filmed on this street? I mean, they filmed WandaVision on that street, like the last couple episodes where it really turns into basically a Marvel movie where she's fighting Agatha was all filmed on that street that's on the back lot. They had filmed like Malcolm in the Middle, Married with Children, some exterior stuff outside the house. They had filmed it all on that place, and I was like, there was 40 or 50 years of film of TV history on that ground. It's like something's got to be done to preserve some of this. I mean, granted, the sound stages aren't going anywhere; they're always going to be used if they're on the lot. But I mean, you've got all these other ancillary lots that some of them have a really deep tradition that goes back to the beginning of the TV era. It's like some of these things need to be preserved so that you can go on there and maybe feel some of this creative energy. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, to blue state politics in California, a lot of production has left that state to Texas, Arizona, Atlanta. Across the pond over to like Pinewood Studios and stuff.
Yeah, very true.
A lot of it has left.
Very true. A lot of it is also just money. It's like if you're not using these, there's no point in holding on to them. It's nice to have those areas available when you want to shoot something because it doesn't take a whole lot of work to refit them to fit whatever production you need. But I mean, I think at some point somebody's got to say, "Hey, maybe we can at least keep this area." There's a couple of videos on YouTube. I'll try to find them and put them up on X or something later, talking about. I know Adam the Woo was one guy that did it. And there was another guy, I forget who it was, that actually did like a tour of that lot, and not just the lot, and showed you houses where they filmed this, and that, or whatever. But it was like also they had trees that were used, like because they have the trees that are in the ground. A lot of them aren't actually planted there. Some of them are just kind of put there and made it look like they've been there forever. They pull those trees back up and move them over to like this big, huge greenery that all the production studios have, where they have all these guys that are keeping these things alive and looking good, so they can be used in another movie. It's there's so much there. It's just it's disappointing that we're not doing more to try to, at least some of these places. We're not doing more to try to preserve some of these places. I mean, you can actually go. What's the name of the ranch? I forget where it's at. It's a state park in Southern California where they film MASH. You can actually go there and see like burned out Jeeps and old, like the old ambulances they use in the TV show. You can actually walk up there and where they actually had the MASH camp set up in that state park. There's got markers and stuff all over it. You can actually hike up there or drive up there and just walk around now. It tells you there's an outline of where the swamp tent actually was on that set. The helipads are still there. There's but that place has been hit by forest fires like 10 times since that show wrapped. So So I mean, so yeah, everything up there, it looks the same but different, kind of at the same time. But yeah, we got to do what we can to preserve some of these places. I think it'd be nice because not everybody lives in Southern California to go see these places every day. Sometimes people will make a special trip out to a place to go see a place, to go see the Psycho, the Bates Motel, to go see the Psycho House, to go see these things. It takes a special trip. Those things are all still there, by the way. But yeah, they're on the back lots. They're on a special place in the back lot. But yeah,
well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
like I mean, I've been to the gas station where the original chainsaw, Texas Chainsaw 74, I've been to the actual gas station there. I've been down the Colorado River where they moved the Texas Chainsaw house to for the 74 film. The 2003 house, I've never been to it because you can't go to it. I've been by it because somebody lives there. But with film, the problem with modern film, are they gonna, like, in 50 years, are they gonna say, like, oh, this is the green screen where they shot the Mandalorian on? No, they're not gonna save it. They're gonna throw it away. You know, it's not a real place. Does it look good? Sure. But it's not a physical location. It doesn't hold the memories of, oh, this is the scene where Iron Man, snapped Thanos away. That doesn't exist on the Disney lot. That's a random green screen somewhere, or blue screen, whatever. So preserving the historical stuff is important, but the movies today aren't going to have that. So we got to do what we can.
And some people are trying to kind of hold on to a little bit of this history, like the Brady Bunch house in Studio City, California. The people that own that house, because the house itself, just the exteriors of the house were one thing. The actual interior stuff was all done on the soundstage back in the day. The people who ended up buying that house actually remodeled the interior of the house to look like the Brady Bunch house from the TV show.
That's cool.
And I'm just like, I would buy that house. If you gave me $100 million to go buy the house of your dreams, I'm going to the Brady Bunch house, son. I would love to have that house. I would love to have that house.
I'm buying the house from Chainsaw 2003, that gigantic Southern Gothic looking kind of place. I love that house. That's probably the one I'd buy. I love that.
But yeah, I mean, we got to do something to hold on to some of these pieces of history because, like you said, it's the green screens aren't the same. Sometimes you want to go to a place where a scene was shot and you want to try to feel that creative energy. You know what I mean? But whatever.
Well, it doesn't have. I mean, we've had this discussion with like kills and effects. Practical effects feel more real, even though we know they're fake. The fact that he actually slit that throat, blah 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 happened. It holds more realism to it than they were acting to an X on a green screen. That's what it was. Like, it's not going to hold the memories.
I would love to go to the place where in the original Friday the 13th where the kids were running down the path away from Jason, so that I could walk that path and think to myself, this was the surroundings of which this machete wielding madman was trying to hack up the teenagers. That feeling would be awesome as a film fan. You know what I mean?
It wasn't too long ago. The house from Friday 4, 5, and 6 was sold for like almost a couple $1 million, I want to say. And it's literally right there in New Jersey. I can't remember what town in New Jersey it is, but it's sold there. That whole Camp Crystal Lake area, people go visit it all the time. Just look at social media on any Friday the 13th. You will see people that go to the actual Camp Crystal Lake in New Jersey to take pictures on the bridge or whatever. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
It says Jason Lives was filmed in Covington, Georgia, an area close to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Is that what 5 was? Jason Lives? Yes.
No, part 5 was A New Beginning. No. Jason Lives was later
part
on.
6. Part 6 is what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
But it says it was filmed out. But either way, it's like I want to be able to go to these places and try to enjoy the moment, try to enjoy the place. You know what I mean? And unless we start to actually take care of some of these things, it's not going to.
It may be the cabin from 2 that I was thinking of instead of 4, 5, or 6. Either way, the cabin that's actually there on Camp Crystal Lake is what I'm talking about. there's like 12 fucking Friday films. It's a lot of shit to keep up with, but either way.
There's a Crystal Lake that's not too far from me, about 25 minutes from me.
Oh,
and every time I kind of drive through that area, I always see the sign that says Crystal Lake this way. I go.
Did her mom get her head? Did her mom get beheaded there, and the kid went crazy?
Not as far as I've actually been up there once. It was like on a Saturday during the day, so I never really got a chance to camp up there.
Actually, technically, you're in Freddy country, so you need to be watching out with your sleep right there in Ohio. So 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. The whole thing. So
true.
Take your hypnostills and
you know what? Jason or Freddy, either way. If I get killed by any of those guys, it's going to be an honor. I would just be like, Freddy, I'm going to let you kill me. I just want to shake your knife gloved hand and thank you for so many years of wonderful viewing.
Oh, you want to be on YouTube, huh? Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Can I interview you for my channel? Can you send a shout out to my buddy Tex? He would love to hear. He would love to hear you say, "Hey, Tex,
that'd be great." Hey,
and then you can.
I'll be down to hang out. I'll be down to hang out with Robert Englund. I'm down for that. I'm not the biggest Freddy guy, but I'll take what I can get.
I was actually just watching an episode of Chips the other night just to kind of unwind, and he was in an episode of Chips where he plays like some guy, a group of people that are stealing like heavy earth moving equipment, and I was just like, Robert Englund is just cool at everything. He's just awesome. But
I love Robert Englund. He's a great actor.
Moving on to some more trivia before we start going down another rabbit hole.
No shit.
Everybody in this movie realizes that they all have the same birthday. The odds of all 10 characters having the same birthday are approximately 1 in 115 sextillion.
That even a number?
It apparently is. Now, they say in parentheses that's about 1 in 115 sextillion. The entire number is 115-694-315-636-972-669-502-854. 1 in that many numbers.
Jeez.
So
what does the guy say in the movie? He says it's like 10 trillion to 1 or something.
That's 24 numbers. Whole numbers. That's not even after a decimal point. That's 24 whole numbers. They say it's about 1 in 115 sextillion. I don't know anything that actually gets that high up. There's no number I could fathom that would go above a certain amount, because it's like we hear all the time as sports fans, this guy's getting paid $300 million over the course of X amount of years. That number number is accurate. It feels real in our world. 115 sextillion. I don't even know what to do with that number.
Sextillion? Okay. I mean, I'll take the word for it. I didn't know that was a form of measurement that we accepted as a thing, but I guess it has to be something. So whatever.
Whatever. As long as as long as it works for the movie, we're good. But moving on, I should have got a picture of this too, but I didn't. The naked businessman that Paris tied to the bed at the beginning of the movie is one of Malcolm's identities. He is also the agent that Caroline Suzanne is speaking to on the phone in the limo in the beginning of the movie. He was penned as the first identity in the movie to die, but his scenes were cut from the movie.
So the whole 10 counting down which, I mean, it would make sense. It's technically a dream world. Dream world. He's all of them, but that kind of takes the steam out of that whole 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing.
That's probably why they ended up cutting him from the movie, because you had to explain why he's so far away from where the body of the movie happens, in this crazy hotel. But you would also have to explain him dying, and she doesn't kill him. How would he die? Especially since he was apparently on the phone with the actress character. I think it was probably better off that you cut him from the movie and just don't try to broach
Well,
him.
yeah, I mean, the old man, the only scenes that we see of him, he's handcuffed to the bed with whipped cream cake, and candles on his chest. And I guess maybe she was going to Gerald's game him and just leave him tied up in bed and just leave. I don't know what's happening here, but whatever. We just see, she lights the candles and is walking away as she's singing Happy Birthday, and we never see him again. So I don't really know.
Yeah, it's really odd that they would have had him in there at all. But obviously they cut him out because he wasn't going to fit with the rest of the movie.
Right. Well,
whatever.
his only purpose is to be the stooge that gets robbed by the hooker. I mean, that's really all he's there for.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
But even having that scene in there is kind of weird because apparently she only exists in the mind of this crazy person.
Right.
So having her at all outside the confines of the hotel, you're kind of wondering, like, wait a minute. So if she exists only in his mind, anything that exists in her world has to exist only in his mind, which means this guy only exists in his mind. Where's the guy? So him being
that's what I'm saying.
It would have been better off if they'd have just not had that scene, and her intro to the movie is her driving around in the convertible.
100%. Well, I mean, like, when Amanda Peet goes back to her room and we see her open up the suitcase and there's rolls of like $100 bills. Obviously, that old man's not the only guy she's done this to. So there's a whole entire backstory that gets hinted at for no reason whatsoever. It's just purely exposition that never gets paid off that you didn't need in this movie. I mean, other than to show, she's an actual, hookers don't get or whores don't get a second chance, whatever the kid says. I mean, that's the only reason that's there. Like, if you're not going to do something with that plot line, you're weighing yourself down with it. Focus on the other stuff.
Yeah. But next piece of trivia I got, when John Cusack shoots Ray Liotta's character at the end of the movie, you can see Rhodes, Ray Liotta's character, mouth the words, "I didn't do this." And Ed replying, "I know." Neither of these lines are audible in the finished film. They were muted because the director felt that it would make it obvious that Rhodes was not the killer, thus making the true climax less surprising. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, because by that point, all of the other men were dead. Mom was gone. Amanda Peet and the boy and those two were the only ones left alive, correct? I think I'm right on that. At
that point, I'm pretty sure it's just the three of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the two guys, Amanda Peet. We don't see the boy. No, you're right. It's just the three of them because we think the boy exploded in the truck accident.
Yeah.
But John Cusack said, the bones would be charcoal or something. So at that point, we're left like, okay, what's going on here? Because we've already seen all the previous death spots were clean. The dryer, the bed, everything else was gone. They were the only three left. And that's when you're like, okay, what's going on? So yeah, that I didn't pick them up mouthing of I didn't do this. I didn't see that. I guess I have to go back and pay attention to it. But yeah, that was a confusing part.
I didn't catch it either because I don't think I put that down until after I'd watched the movie. But I'm gonna have to go back and at least watch that scene again because I didn't the first time.
I mean, I didn't read lips on that scene and I didn't have captions on. Now, is it in the closed captioning? I wonder if it picks that up or not. That'd be
maybe not. Not if it was done. Not if it was done before the movie was theatrically released. Probably not. But I mean, I don't know.
Right.
It'd be kind of, if not, I don't know. Maybe somebody fucked it up and went ahead and put it in the closed captioning.
Right.
But where am I at now? I'll go with this one actually. Let's see, the first draft of the movie, the killer was an expatriate female teacher from Australia. However, it was decided that a female teacher who was a serial killer may not have gone down well with parent groups, so that idea was dropped.
So parent groups are okay with a male killer?
Making sense out of cancel culture doesn't happen.
Wouldn't parents groups be against this film no matter how they shook it anyways? Who cares?
The guy can be a murderer as long as he's a white male.
Right. As long as he's a certain demographic, it's fine. That's what's so weird. It's like,
this is before the wokeness either. So
the church is protesting this possession group. Well, no shit. They're, of course it's not like priests, preachers are going to be lining up to see The Exorcist or something. Like, I've never understood that. It's so dumb.
There's got to be a priest out there somewhere that was like, I kind of want to go see what this movie's about.
And on some of these like possession, exorcism films, the church actually consults on these movies. But anytime you see like, we're an animal activist group, we protest cannibal holocaust. Who cares what you have to say? You're a moron. Go away. This is a movie. None of this is real. Like, go away, hippie. Nobody likes you. Like,
They're only doing it to get attention and to get donations.
They are,
or whatever.
It's the same. It's the same PETA like it is that when somebody's wearing a fur coat, they will run up and throw like red paint. They all need to be hit in the face. Is what they
have I ever told you about the one time PETA was outside protesting a restaurant that I used to work at?
No, but I hope you ran them over with your car.
No, I was at work at the time, so that would have been very difficult to do. But I was managing a Kentucky Fried Chicken many years ago here in the area, and some PETA protesters showed up, and there was like 10 of them. They weren't really doing anything. Most of the customers came through were laughing at them, but they were standing out front protesting, cruelty to animals or whatever, because we're so cruel to animals, whatever, and. So customers would come by, and a couple of them would actually just buy like an extra wing, like a la carte, a couple extra wings, and they would drive. And it like where that store was at the time when you would drive out of the drive-through and then turn onto the main road. They were standing right there as you were coming out of the drive-through between the drive-through and the main road, and people would take these extra wings and throw them at them.
Oh yeah.
And the hell of it all is like they would come in and buy drinks because they would be there for 3 or 4 hours. They'd come in, buy drinks, and then leave. And I'm like, you're giving us money. You may as well have some chicken while you're fucking here, dumbass.
You're supporting the business you're protesting.
That was one of the first times I realized just how full of shit these people were, is that they were there for a while one Saturday, and then they were getting ready to leave. And then one of the local news vans showed up because apparently there was nothing more important in the area happening that day. And then as soon as they saw the TV van pull into the parking lot, all the guys that were kind of like packing their stuff up, they all ran real quick to get all their stuff back out of their cars and ran back out there so they could be on TV. And I'm like, you guys are in it for the fucking gram, dude. You guys just in it for the press. You're not here to do anything important.
I mean, that's the whole thing, Oh, well, this parents group doesn't like this horror film. Well, no crap. None of them ever do. Like, why did we even pay any mind to any of these people? Like, these are the people. Oh, none of the scenes of violence in this film have to be blah 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 in the end of a credit scene because some stupid activist group thought it's just so dumb.
It's silly. These protesting
they're moron.
But let's see. Moving on to more trivia. Not a surprise at all. Several endings were actually filmed in order to shroud the real conclusion in secrecy. This brings an interesting question to my mind. What were some of these other endings? I mean, did you have different endings where different people were the killer? Or did you film a bunch of different ones thinking that in post-production you were going to decide that the killer?
I wonder if they ever put that on DVD or anything. I've never owned this on DVD.
I have this movie on DVD. I watched it on streaming because all my DVDs are still packed up. But I actually had this movie on DVD. I'm going to have to pull it out at some point and see if there's any kind of special features or alternate endings. Because
deleted scenes or whatever.
I'd be interested to see how some of these other endings played out.
Hell, I mean, but all of these movies, I mean, what was the Usual Suspects that we reviewed where they had like 4 or 5 different endings they filmed? Clue did the same thing. All of the movies like this do that to throw people off base, or sometimes you'll get different, like, wasn't it Clue where you like different screenings got different endings or whatever? Movies have done this for a long time. I mean, plus, hell, like, look at somebody like the Russo brothers, where they filmed fake scenes just for trailer footage, just to throw people off of the set. That's normal nowadays.
Yeah, true. But let's see. Last couple of things I got. I'm going to hit you with this fun one. You know why? Because it's going to give me a chance to use. Where'd that picture go? It's going to give me a chance to use this picture again. Let's see. A life-size dummy was created to depict the murdered character played by Jake Busey with a baseball bat lodged in his throat. One of the studio's executives asked to keep the dummy as a souvenir and stored it in his office closet. One night, a cleaning woman opened the closet and was frightened out of her wits, not knowing the dummy was going to be there. The dummy was then removed from the offices immediately after that incident.
That's great. Oh,
that's awesome. I would laugh my ass off at first, and I'd be like, wait a minute, and I'd poke it and be like, is this real? It's not a real thing, is it?
If I ever get the opportunity to be in a film where I'm killed and they make a plaster, mold of my body like that, I am doing whatever it takes to take that home. That will be the first thing you see when you enter my house. It's like, oh yeah, that's me dead over there. Like it won't, I won't have a coffee table. It'll be like my severed head over on the mantle, Mrs. Voorhees style or something.
That severed head will be the centerpiece at every Thanksgiving for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, no, that will be like encased in glass where it doesn't, tear apart too soon. That will be, passed on to my lineage. So yeah, I would totally do that.
And to wrap up the trivia, this is the one thing I always do to annoy Jeremy. I have to scroll back up now because I still have all the two pictures on here. The thing I always do to annoy Jeremy is the body count. Tex, I don't know. Give me an idea. What do you think the body count of this movie was? I haven't counted in my head. I wasn't counting as the movie went on, but I don't think this one's right. But then again, IMDb has misled us before. What do you think the body count of this movie was?
Well, we know 9 of the 10 personalities died. Then Alfred Molina also dies. And it's fair to assume that the driver of that van dies. So 11?
They have the body count at 14. All it says past that is this does not count the girl Ed didn't save, which it shouldn't because she didn't die in the movie, or the 6 people that Malcolm killed in the past, which it shouldn't because they didn't die in the movie. When I say body count, I always think people who died in this movie.
Yeah.
So you could say that Freddy Krueger killed 700 other people, but when I'm watching the
movie,
I'm worried about the 5 teenagers that he killed. That's what I'm counting.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like 14 is a little too hie because, I mean,
well, I don't understand how they would get to 4 because obviously
high.
The 9 of the 10, which are they counting the old man that's handcuffed in the beginning of the film? Maybe that would be 1. I mean, there's nothing that.
But maybe, yeah, but he doesn't die in the final cut of the movie, so I don't count that.
Right.
So if I'm doing all this, I'm going, okay, Rebecca De Mornay's character dies.
Yeah. Amanda Peet.
Clea DuVall's character dies. I'm talking about the deaths, not. Well, I'm trying to get into chronologically. Clea DuVall's character dies. Her husband, boyfriend guy dies. The 2 parents die. That's 5. I don't count the guy who's in the freezer. He's dead before the movie starts. Maybe they're counting him. We can.
Okay, I forgot about that one.
Let's see. Jake Busey's character dies.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta's character dies, and John Cusack's characters die.
Yeah.
I'm up to 8.
I'm at 12.
I guess. God, there's a couple. Okay, look, I'm assuming that Amanda Peet's character dies. That's even though you.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Now, if you count Alfred Molina and the guy driving the van at the end of the movie, that's 11.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else.
I could get to 12 counting the guy in the freezer because I initially didn't count him.
The guy who was running the hotel when they first got there, I hadn't counted him yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's the guy in the freezer. Yeah. Yeah, there's 12. Yeah.
If you
I can get to 12. I can't get it.
If you count the guy in the freezer and the guy who was running the hotel when they get there, who was taking all their money,
yeah,
you can get it up to 13. But still, that's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Well, like you just said, the credibility of IMDb and their death count is bullshit anyway.
Yeah, that's not. I wonder if there's what's that channel that you and Jeremy are always talking about on YouTube? The
Dead Meat. Yeah.
I wonder. Let me go look real quick. I'm just gonna go look
I don't
up
know if they.
YouTube.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know if they've ever done a video on this either.
Ton of movies. I've never seen this one on their channel before, but I don't know if James and Chelsea ever did this.
I spelled meat with an R for some reason. Dead Meat Identity. Not revealed.
Great YouTube channel, by
the way. Dead Meat Identity. Boy, I am not typing very well at all right now. Dead Meat. Let's see. Jurassic World, VHS. They must not have done this movie. So
They give you everything but the one thing. I got Jurassic World for you, but no identity. There you go.
yeah, ironically enough, the first what comes up before they do it is actually our stream, which is nice that it's actually coming up in a search engine somewhere.
No. There we go.
Kill count. Maybe somebody else.
Yeah, I don't see how they get to 4. They would have had to have counted the old man that's handcuffed. Which technically, maybe this is how. If everybody in this whole film is a personality, he would have to count on that death toll, right? Because that's one of the personalities within him.
Yeah, they apparently don't have a video up on this. So, I mean, I don't know. We're going to have to maybe do a separate series of videos where we actually do accurate kill counts.
I'd love to. I would love to.
IMDb's are terrible. IMDb's are. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're so far off. I just look at them. I'm like, no. that's
you mean I have to go through all of my favorite horror films and rewatch them and recount and pay attention to all the deaths, Frank? No, please don't make me do that. I don't want to have to do that, Frank. Please, no.
Yeah, I'll have to. I'm sure I'll have to twist your leg for some of these.
You're gonna have to send me even more of that harsh truth green that you got over there. In order to do that.
Pay you some more of that harsh truth money.
Right.
I've been missing the chat all night. What's up, AJ? Let's see.
It's about as valuable as Confederate dollars are these days, but whatever.
Yeah, really. Casey here talking shit like he always does. BJ was here. Much love, BJ. I was good to see you here. Your son did not.
I will say hi to BJ and I will say hi to BJ and AJ Casey and go fuck yourself. How about that, Casey?
Yeah. Your son did not understand the homework assignment to watch a movie today. So get on him, BJ. Get on him. But that's all the trivia I've got for this one. Probably a good place to start wrapping this thing up. But Tex, give me your final thoughts on the film Identity.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Like I said, I kind of got to retake the ride for the first time on this one because I thought this was a totally different movie. But I had fun with it. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's a fun whodunit. It's a movie. It's one of those. I mean, obviously, if you're watching this, you'll see all the questions that Frank and I were having while we were watching it. You'll probably have some similar ones yourself. So throw it on for free. It's on Tubi. It's where I watch it anyways. I don't think you'll regret watching this one. It's pretty good. I give it like a 6.5, 7, almost a 7. It's not bad. I would have upped the gore and cut some of the nonsense. So about a 6.5.
Yeah, there's also a movie called Identity that came out this year, actually, that I've never heard of. I think it's probably one of the Bollywood films.
Yeah, I don't watch Bollywood.
There was another one that I thought I had seen. People interest. There was another one I thought I had seen that came out like in the 80s or 90s. There's a movie called Identity that came out in 2010. One that came out last year. There was a TV movie with Angela Bassett that came out in 2011. Another movie that came out in 2023 called Identity. One in 2022. So yeah, it's not. There's. I thought there was another movie that had come out that maybe is something that we had seen, but no.
Right.
All these that I'm coming across on IMDb are things that I have never ever heard of. Let's see, Identity, a TV series with Penn Jillette. I love Penn and Teller. Another one, a short that came out in 2018. Yeah, I'm not finding anything that is ringing a bell here, but yeah. So there's other movies I know of that have this movie. They have the same name. They're just different movies.
Right.
But yeah, I think this movie's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a great it's kind of done in the style of the old whodunits that they just don't really make it anymore. It's a fun ride. Again, I wish it would have leaned a little bit more into the blood and guts. I think it would have accentuated kind of. I think it would have added to the fear factor of it all. Would have added to the
it would have upped the stakes to see more of the finality of these characters.
I just think the visuals would have kind of accentuated things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because like, you know, I mean, the whole Jake Busey thing notwithstanding, there wasn't a whole lot of. It's like I said, it was like a guy laying
he
against
was
the wall
so
with some blood
wasted
smear on
in
the
this
wall.
movie. They should have had so much more Jake Busey.
Yeah, it's you know, whatever. I was again, I like the body of the movie. That's the important part. Is that the acting and the writing and everything was all very well done. It's a fun movie. Like Tech said, it's on Tubi free with ads. I think it's also on, I want to say Hulu. If you have a Hulu account, it was on one of my which one.
I watched it on Tubi.
I watched it on Tubi
Tubi
because that's the first
Tubi
one
is
I
great.
found it on, and I was watching it while I was getting the stream together.
Suck it out. Alex and the Garbage Man's trying to get on my Tubi racket over here, trying to take my money that I keep getting paid from him. You know, not really. So he needs to back off my racket over here, pal.
Hey,
get
you
your
know
own
what?
thing.
Hey, you know what? The more money he's got to pay you, the less that harsh truth money I got to pay you. So I can kind of hide it in there. And be like, well, you're getting all that money from Alex the Garbage Man. Maybe you should.
I have yet to receive one red Canadian cent from them, and I'm considering a class action lawsuit for him getting in on my Tubi business. So he best watch himself. So.
Well, you'll have to sue him in Canadian courts, and you know how the shit goes up there north of the border.
Oh yeah.
You got to sue him for like 10 moose or something like that. And,
yeah. Do they pay you in hockey pucks? Is that how you buy things? I'm not.
They pay you in gallons of maple syrup up there. I'm pretty sure. That's
yeah.
That's just like gold to those people.
Jesus.
The Yeehaw people versus the Canucks.
We'll have to meet on a neutral battlefield because I don't do hockey well, so maybe like, I don't know, a baseball field or something. Oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, the Yeehaws versus the Canucks. That's
the Yeehaws versus the I'm sorry people, because that's all they do is apologize.
The apologizing Canucks, eh?
Right.
and we're all gonna get drunk on Labatt's. We're gonna drink Labatt's.
Hey, you know what? As long as it gets you there, whatever works, man. You know?
Labatt's isn't bad beer. I haven't had it in a while, but I
can't say I've ever had one. I don't think I've ever seen one. Now, I will say Canadian Mist whiskey is pure toxic. Do not drink that garbage. There's a reason why it's like $5 for a handle. So stay away from that mess. But whatever.
Hey, sometimes the rock gut is the stuff you need to get you through the night. You know what
I mean? You have to chug. Don't taste, because if you taste, you won't drink no more. But it's good when you're like 15 and that's all you can get a hold of. But
whatever. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up there. I want to thank my amazing co-host Tex for being so awesome as always. Every time I talk about anything drama, anything scary, anything with blood, this is the guy I go to for expert breakdowns. Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
I won't be here Thursday. Assuming they get to Clerks 2, which, by the way, just keep that meme rolling and see how far you can take it out.
But get fucking reviews done.
Obviously, it's a big weekend in the theaters. Fantastic Flop is coming out with, Pedro once again. But there is 3 horror films coming out this weekend. The one I'm looking forward to most is called House on Eden. It's a Shudder-produced paranormal film where a group goes into a house, investigating a paranormal film. The other 2 have bigger name stars in them. The Home with Pete Davidson. It's like Pete Davidson gets a job at an old folks home and there's some nefarious kind of things happening. And then the third one is Ick, I-C-K, starring Brandon Routh, where like this black parasitic alien goo thing is kind of it looks like Venom a little bit. But it's a Brandon Routh starring film. It's got a very much an early 2000s soundtrack and theme. The soundtrack is actually done by like that era of music. All 3 look kind of interesting. I'm going to try to catch House on Eden and the Ick. The Home is kind of my third, but I'm going to try to see as many of these as possible. And I Know What You Did Last Summer is out right now. It didn't get as much money as I hoped it would, but I really enjoyed I Know What You Did Last Summer. It is one of the better legacy sequels to a horror film that I've seen. It does have a feminist tinge to it. I mean, you can't avoid that, but go out of your way to see it. Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr. coming back. And technically it's not a surprise anymore, but you even get Sarah Michelle Gellar back in a fun way. So go out of your way to see I Know What You Did Last Summer as well. It was a fun.
Yeah, I've heard. I saw the trailer for Ick. I don't. It's got like a horror comedy vibe to it.
Yeah, it does.
I'm intrigued, but I don't know if I'm intrigued enough to run out and see it. I mean, obviously this weekend is going to be Fantastic Four.
I've got House on Eden at number one that I'm most interested in seeing. It's kind of got a Paranormal Activity kind of vibe to it, and it's produced by Shudder, and I love Shudder. You know that, so I'm going to go to that one first. And of course, I mean, I'm going to see Fantastic Four this weekend as well because I'm sure we're doing that on Tuesday.
That will be on Tuesday. The reviews for Fantastic Four have been through the roof. I have not heard a bad review yet. Now that doesn't.
I hope it's good, but I'm just so freaking tired of Pedro Pascal. I'm sick. Do you realize he has 3 movies out right now in theaters at the same freaking time?
Yeah, I'm hitting Pedro Pascal burnout the way that I haven't really hit burnout for a lot of people, but I'm eager to see it. A lot of people have said that this is the first big step for getting Marvel back to form, the form that we were used to for the first 3 phases.
Well, they better hope so because it's sucked since Endgame. Besides Deadpool and Wolverine, and Spider-Man 3 that they did, the rest of it's been garbage. So.
Yeah. But yeah, the reviews for this have just been through the roof. So I'm really eager to see it if it holds up. Again, I'm still not thrilled about the Pedro Pascal casting. Every time I see Vanessa Kirby, I like her more and more in the role of Sue Storm. Johnny Storm and The Thing. Those are beautifully cast, I think, as well. I'm a big fan of Eben Moss-Baccarat, who plays The Thing, because I watched The Bear.
I just wish we got a real Silver Surfer and not that chick version. I hate that.
It's all the same. Just whatever. I don't care. As long as the character is good, I'm going to be fine. But we're going to be doing that on Tuesday. That's what we're going to be doing. This Fantastic Four. Jeremy and I, we're going to get it done. Clerks 2 with the beautiful Rosario Dawson and the even better looking Jason Mewes. We're going to be doing that on Thursday. Everything's already set up for this. We've been trying to do it for 2 weeks. It seems like every time. I mean, a week before last, I was just exhausted from work, didn't want to do it. Last week, I rushed home. I was here getting ready to do it. And as soon as I walked in the door, my girlfriend looked at me and said, "Internet just went out about 10 minutes ago." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" As I was getting ready to sit down and go live. And it didn't come back on until about 9:30 my time or something like that, because I was sitting here with no internet. I couldn't do anything. So I was playing like Command and Conquer on my computer because I was just like, I can't stream anything. I can't play Fortnite. I can't do anything. It's like at YouTube. So I put a podcast on.
It's almost like you were living in like 1995.
You know what? Honestly, I got used to it really, really fast because a year ago or so, we had some weather roll through here and knocked our power out for a weekend. And within about 3 hours, I was content. There was a book that I've been wanting to read that I'd had on my shelf for like 2 years, and I was like, I'm gonna sit and read this book. So I read that book over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And
you're pretty much left to either read a book or actually talk to your family.
That's the funny thing is Jennifer had plans to leave town for some Girl Scout stuff that weekend. So it was just me and my dog at home alone. So I was just like, and the storm rolled through and the entire weekend was sunny after that. So I was just sitting on my back porch.
That's the new Home Alone I need is Frank by himself and two bad guys come to rob his house. That's the movie I want to see.
We'll have to outline that story. I think it'll be fun. It's just like one weekend, we're all sitting, me, you, and Jay, we're just sitting around drinking whatever, and we're talking about what do we do with the girlfriends away, and we're having some like funny conversations only guys have and can understand, and then we hear a glass break, and then all hell breaks loose, and next thing you know, we're in a funny gunfight for our lives, and we're cracking wise and shooting people. That's a good movie.
Well, that's pretty much how it's going to go. The first crazy sound we hear, we're both reaching for pistols immediately. That's going to be the first move. So bring it on. I'm
just going to be like, cover me so I can get to the bedroom and get to my rifles. And then it's really going to be fun. Then we're going to have a good time. But yeah, meet us back here on Thursday. Jeremy and I will be here for Clerks 2. Jeremy's in a quarterback that one because I've been letting him run Thursdays. He's getting better and better at the production stuff. But we're going to be here Thursday doing that. And then you're going to, swear to God, it's like this. Where's it at? All the pictures are still in here. This scene right here. Me and Jeremy have lived this scene so many times in our lives. If you've never seen the movie, have you ever seen Clerks 2?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, just the opening scene right there where he walks up and goes terrorists, and then Fonda looks at him and goes, "The fuck is wrong?"
I've seen it. I'm and for anybody watching, the reason I'm not doing the rest of these Clerks movies, I'm not the biggest Kevin Smith guy besides Mallrats and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. The rest of them, I really just don't care about in the universe or whatever it's called. Now, once we get to, like I said, Mallrats and Jay and Silent Bob, I'm there for. And if we ever do Tusk or Red State, I'll definitely be there for both of those. But the rest of them, I'm not a Clerks guy. I've never been a fan, so it just doesn't strike me.
The second one is the funniest. The first one I think is a better one.
Clerks. Now I will say Clerks 3 was just straight up depressing to watch. I did see that one. That wouldn't be just.
It was. Yeah. Don't spoil it. Jay hasn't seen it yet. I don't know if he's watching right now, so don't spoil anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't say, but everybody dies. I'll just cover myself and say.
Yeah, everybody dies. But we'll go with that. But I also changed your name down there to something more appropriate for Clerks. You are now the sexy stud. Where's Kinky Kelly? I'm the sexy stud. I love that part. It's so funny. Kind of makes me want to take my kids down to see a donkey show in Tijuana. But we'll save that for some other time. I want to thank my co-host Tex for coming on here being awesome as always. Thanks to Jeremy who came on for the first part of the show as we talked about our memories of Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace to the Prince of Darkness. Again, go enjoy some of Ozzy's music. I mean, the guy was great. Some great music indeed, despite what Tex might think about him for peeing on the Alamo. But
remember the Alamo. I respect Ozzy for what he did, but I do not forgive him for what he did. Just saying.
We will see you back here on Thursday for Clerks 2, and then, of course, next week for Fantastic Four. Till then.
Hell yeah.
Adios. I mean, I remember the Alamo because we won. Just like the 49ers beating the Cowboys, the Mexicans went over there and took the Alamo. So it seems like you guys just don't do very well.
Who's got the last Super Bowl ring, pal? The Dallas, God bless Cowboys.
But that was like 200 years ago. I mean,
but when was your last one? Like 205 years ago? Okay.
We won in when did we win our last one? 95?
It was like the year before the Cowboys, I think.
Yeah. And then, so neither one of us have won one in 20-something years. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah, but mine's more recent, so I win. That's all that matters.
Yours is like 5 seconds more recent. That's not saying a lot. I mean, if you're going to split hairs, put the thick hairs. You know what I mean?
All right. Go Cowboys. That's all I got to say.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.